Welcome back, watch fans. We have another amazing watch market update for you today. That's right, unbelievable but true. And we're going to start off by talking about gold. That's right, oro. And let me tell you something, gentlemen. The prices of oro are dropping faster than Juan and Kino's pants in a Bronx bathhouse circa 1978 with a disco soundtrack. That's right, unbelievable but true. I mean, the prices are dropping faster than Juan and Kino's pants, and they're dropping some more. Dropping some more. Imagine it's 1978, the disco fever is going, and Juan and Kino's bell bottoms are dropping on the floor of that bathhouse. That's right, in the boogie down Bronx. You know where that is? You don't know where the boogie down Bronx is? You Google it. That's right, you Google it, my friends. Now let me tell you something. It's unbelievable, but the timing on this channel, this is the only channel where you get actual valuable, not only do you get filler content, not only do you get valuable filler content, you also get good financial information. That's right, unbelievable but true. Now, when did I put out that video about my concerns about the gold market? Because, bukyaks were talking about gold. Once you hear the bukyaks, once you hear all the bukyaks talking about something, you know the market is topped out. And sure enough, where is gold today? The gold is dropping $200 an ounce. $200. That's a big. We're getting $100, $200 daily swings. It's unbelievable. It used to be $5 was a big move. That's right, unbelievable. Now, when I was a wee lad, I actually I worked at it was the New York Mercantile Exchange, and it was the platinum and palladium pit. That's right, unbelievable. I was the phone clerk. Would get the phone, the orders would come in, and I had to write it down. I'd give it to the floor broker, this guy Tony, from the boogie down Bronx. Anyway, but these things were only trade a couple. $5 was a big move with gold. But here's what's going on, my friends. Let me tell you how this will affect your Rolex prices. That's right, because if you have any gold Rolex, again, if you're smart, you got to have some gold in the watch. If you have a basic steel watch, you shouldn't even be watching this. This is not for you. This channel is not for you. This is only for the aristocrats. So if you have some gold Rolex, date, whatever it is it time to start melting it down? Our price is about to go to the moon. Our price is going to go to the moon. So here's what's going on. So interestingly, as soon as I posted that video about these bukyaks talking about gold and they're going all in, they got gold fever, Bitcoin fever. Of course, that marked the top of the market, as it should. But I think it's a temporary top. Here's why I'm thinking like this, right? Because you have to also pay attention to kind of psychology, right? Like, so, for example, was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, last week, Thursday. I'm looking at these gold stocks I had, which I haven't looked at in, who knows, 2-3 years. Agnico Eagle, Kinross, Agnico Eagle, or Agnico. I don't even know how you pronounce these names. But anyway, they were going to the moon. I'm thinking, shit, should I just dump this? Because they've gone parabolic. But then I realized, now this might be a mistake. Now, of course, the day I thought of it was actually the next day was the top, temporary top, I believe. And here's why. Again, the gold, the market is very much like the Rolex market. It's very similar. It's like all these manias, all these bubbles. So what happens is this, right? In the first wave, these markets usually go through a couple of waves. In wave one, it's arguable, you can say 3 waves, whatever it is, but there's usually at least 2 waves. In wave one, some of the people who were in early, they see the thing goes up and then they take profits, right? Like after the thing goes doubles or triples, whatever it is, right? Whatever the asset is. And that kind of, and they think they're smart, right? They think, shit, okay, wow, I doubled my money, it's free money. And that kind of, then the market kind of consolidates. It goes sideways. It drops. It's a big drop because there's a lot of profit taking. So I think this is actually the phase we went through now because, the price of gold at 40, what is it, 40, Where did we hit? Did we hit 45? Whatever the number was, it just makes no sense. Even today, it makes no sense. I think it should be $2,500, under 3,000, definitely, 100%. But anyway, it is where it is. So what's happened is the first wave, people took profits. I posted that story about people at the 47th Street. They're going crazy. They're bringing in all their scrap, all their gold, everything. All the chains that they snatched, all the Puerto Rican chain snatchers from the Bronx are on 47th Street right now. That's right. Juan and Kino and all their relatives, these guys that were snatching gold chains in the 1970s when they were in their youth, right? They're probably 18, 16. They're teenagers then, right? And now they're old guys. This is how they build the retirement. This is the Puerto Rican retirement fund in the Bronx. Basically, the way it works is you start snatching chains when you're like 15, 16, and you hold them. You bury them somewhere under the mattress, and then you hope that 40 years later the gold will be worth something, right? Then you cash in. And this is what's going on right now. So they're all cashing in these gold chains that they snatched back in the 70s and 80s, right? Especially Juan and Kino, they did a lot of chain snatching in those bathhouses. You know what I'm talking about, right? The man country bathhouse. That's where Juan and Kino were. They had a reserved locker there. That's right, the Juan and Kino locker, a reserved locker. Anywho's, so what's going on is you read this article, which was very what a great article. It was actually pretty well written, I should say. It's the New York Times, they get some good people sometimes. They're all left-wing lunatics and it's all bullshit, but the entertainment-wise, some of them know how to write. Good journalism, right? So, they're talking about this fever. People are bringing it in. They're going crazy. They got to buy there's the people who are like, they need to buy it now. They ladies, there's some lady who she says, I must buy 10 ounces. People are going crazy. Again, you got to assume it's all a little bit exaggerated, right? But at the same time, here's what you got to realize. Gold is not something that disappears. Most people, they... I think 90% of the mined gold is still around today, right? Whatever the statistics are, there's whatever was mined, it's out there, right? People have jewelry, they're 14 karat, 18 karat, like Juan and Kino, they got stuff in their mattress that they were chain snatching. People don't throw it out, right? So it's out there. So when the price goes up, so people are saying, oh, well, they can't mine it. There's not enough, there's so much demand. And, the mine production is really, it's constrained, right? It really is constrained, right? You can't bring a mine on that quick. Well, actually, with El Trump, he's making it easier. So there's going to be much more mining, but still, that's years out. We got some good reading here. That's fine journalism right there. Now, but what you realize is, 90% of that gold, it's people that have it at home, right? And all that stuff is coming out now. It's all coming out of the woodwork. It's all coming out from under the mattresses. All that gold, and that's gonna, especially at these crazy prices. So that's gonna put a lid on prices. So again, people are going crazy, and now there's gonna be some panic. They're saying, shit, maybe I should sell that stuff before it drops even further. So I think actually gold could drop like a shakeout. There's always a shakeout in any type of bubble. There's always the first shakeout where the first big wave of profit taking is, and I believe that's going to happen now, right? Of course, I wrote down in retrospect, I should have sold on last Thursday, Friday. That's right. I should have sold those stocks Thursday, Friday. I could have, gotten it, buying back cheaper, I don't know, a month from now, 2 months from now. But yeah, I think so. I think it looks to me like the gold El Oro prices are going to drop over here. a little bit, probably to 3,700, I think. Maybe, yeah, I think somewhere at 3,700, between 3,500 and 3,800, I would say. So, right, that's kind of where it should probably drop. And it's going to hang around there. But guess what's going to happen after that? After that, see, here's the thing. A bubble has to suck everybody in. Everybody's got to get sucked in. You know, that's the whole idea. The market's job is to take all your money. Not some of your money, but all your money. There we go. This Juan. There's one of Archie Luxury's big donors. One of Archie's big donors. He's with the wagon. He's got the wagon filled with oro. Yeah. Anyway, the market's got to get everybody sucked in. So what's going to happen is this. This is my thesis. Let's see if I'm right. This will be fun. So what happens is the first wave, there's the shakeout, the big shakeout, and then, you know, everybody gives up, and all of a sudden starts going back up again. It starts going back up. It starts going up slowly. Then all of a sudden it goes bananas, and then it just goes crazy, and that's when the big move happens. And everybody, that's when everybody buys in, because those people say, "Shit, I missed out the first time. I'm not gonna miss out again." That's gonna be the thinking that's gonna drive it to the ultimate high, right? The thinking is gonna be, I missed out the first time, and I'm not gonna miss out again. So this is what's going on here. We have fine people here in sunny Las Vegas. That's right, glamorous. This is guys. I'm only showing you the most glamorous parts of Las Vegas on these videos here. Only the most glamorous parts, because this is a very glamorous channel. So you deserve to have only the most glamorous. So what's going to happen is, I believe, drops to 3,800, and then it goes to the moon. When I say the moon, you know, I think it might go to a price where it's going to be something crazy, like 5,800, 6,800. I think it's going to have a 6 on it, like a 6,900. It might be a crazy price, and that's going to be the all-time high. After that, everybody's going to get sucked in. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Juan and Kino, you know, all those chains that they sold, the chain snatching stuff, all that, they're going to go, and then they're going to get FOMO, and they're going to go to 47th Street, and they're going to be buying. They're going to be buying it back. I guarantee you that Juan and Kino will be buying gold, will be buying back gold at 6,800 at the top. And after that, it's going to collapse. It's going to go to 2,000 for the next 20 years or whatever it's going to be. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's right. Unbelievable but true. So what does this have to do with Rolex? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Now that we're 13 minutes into this, because look, this is a high value channel, and we're going to give you only the best types of content, right? So what this has to do with the Rolex is what this has to do with the Rolex is, you may have a limited opportunity right now to take advantage of this. We're talking about, I think there's, and I don't know which way this is going to go, but I believe the old day dates, those bracelets, like right now we're seeing a lot of them being sold head only, because bukiaks are melting down those bracelets, which by the way are stupid bracelets. They have they're garbage. The old day dates pre-2009, whatever it is, you know, and they're flimsy. You know, the garbage. So I get it. You know, those watches, any Rolex pre-2008, when they started doing the heavy bracelet, should be melted. But the question is are the original bracelets actually going to increase in value, because there's going to be less of them, because everybody's going to melt them. I'm certain of it. I'm thinking of melting it. That's right. I'm thinking of melting mine, because I don't wear it. It's useless. So what am I gonna keep it? I mean, keep it in a box. You know, that's kind of where I'm thinking. Or hold it. Okay, are they going to be that much more valuable? I don't know. I think now that I've thought this through, I think I'm gonna dump it. I'm gonna dump it and spend the money on female entertainment. That's right, female entertainment. Unbelievable, but true. What's going to happen is Rolex is going to be jacking up prices for sure, because look, they know the way they see it, they're very conservative, right? They see gold going up, so they kind of project it out for the next 5 years. So they're going to be jacking up prices bigly. So your chance to get a gold Rolex, any type of gold with a Rolex, is the window is closing, because prices are going to get jacked up in a big way. They're going to get jacked up in a big way. I think a basic day date's going to be 50 grand. Like, that's right, basic day date, champagne dial day dates. A basic bitch day date is going to be a new one. We're talking about new ones, are going to be 50 grand, which is crazy. Yeah, unbelievable but true. So what's happening, gentlemen, is now let me tell you something. There's still limited opportunities, very limited. The window is closing on head-only Rolex day dates, not like what I'm wearing now, but the head-only Rolex day date. The window is closing on those. The window is closing, and the chronograph, any type of gold head-only Rolex, the window is closing. And look, we have a number of aristocrats who have, they've jumped on this trend early. That's right. We're talking Baron Bohm. That's right. The Baron Bohm. Not only did he get the day date, but he doubled down. He got a Vacheron. I think a '60s Vacheron. I think if he melted those watches now, he could make a profit. Yeah, I mean the price. I think he paid basically melt value for them, or just a little bit around. And this was what, a year ago. So I think the Baron Bohm is going to be very happy in about a year when gold is something like 6 grand or 8 grand. Who knows? I don't think it's going to get 8 grand, but it could get a crazy number, because from what I understand, also the Chinese. That's right, China is buying gold. They're buying up gold, the central bank. Why? Because they don't want to be stuck with dollars, when they invade Taiwan. What do you think? What do you think? They're stupid? What do you think? They're stupid like that? You Google it. The Chinese are buying gold for the same reason the Russians aren't selling their gold. Why? Because they know that they don't want to be stuck. They don't want to be sanctioned when they invade Taiwan. They got to have that gold. That's right. Russia, China. You know who else loves gold? India. That's right, India. Now, India should be sanctioned because they are buying Russian oil. That's right. They're making a profit on Russian oil. They are profiting from the sanctions. Wait a second. Let's see if we can cross. Yeah. The Indians are profiting from the Russian sanctions, and they love gold, right? So what are they doing? Are they buying? But they're definitely, they have no problem transacting in gold, because they think it's great. It's only the Americans who have been slow to catch on. I think the Americans are going to start catching on very soon. So look, here's why I think gold has ways to run. Why? Because it's still really not that mainstream yet. Like, you don't hear, like, again, like I was saying, yeah, I heard some bukyaks, this one bukyak in a bar talking about it, but it's that guy is that guy is kind of like what I would call the he's the wave 2 buyer. He's not the last guy, but he's like close to the last guy to buy. So it's. I think we still have some ways to run. You know, I actually saw a video with Paul Tudor Jones, who's a famous investor, who I actually respect. He's a trend follower. That's his big thing. He loves these big trends, riding these trends. And what he was mentioning something with gold is, again, his thing is he's not looking to buy at the bottom or buy the top. He wants to just ride the trend however long it goes, right? So he's quite bullish on gold. So we could still be halfway in. We still have, like, the big money could be coming up. So what does that mean for Rolex? Again, back to the high quality content that we bring you here. The price of Rolex is going up. Don't listen to Juan and Kino. Vintage gold Rolex is your last opportunity to get in now, because what's going to happen is when gold is trading at 6 grand, all of a sudden any type of vintage gold Rolex, okay, any type of vintage gold Rolex is going to have like a real appeal to it, much more than the melt value or whatever. I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen. As soon as gold hits these crazy numbers, people are going to have a real appreciation for it all of a sudden. It's going to have a status all of its own. And by the way, these geezer watches, you know, it's a trend we were talking about for about a year ago. The geezer watch, you know, those Patek 70s, AP 70s watches on those mesh bracelets. Those are those actually. I think the trend is. I think we've definitely peaked, but I think it may like kind of coast. It's going to coast, especially held up by the melt value of those watches, because they got a lot of gold content in them, right? There's a couple of ounces of gold in them there watches. So, you know, those watches that were, you know, 7 grand or 8 grand are going to be 12 grand. That's right, they're going to be 12 grand just from the melt value. So you got real upside. Again, you don't hear this anywhere else. You don't hear this on the Archie Luxury, the Bukiak, the JJ Bukiak Hangout, any of these Chomo channels. That's right, the Chomo channels out there, these Chomo channels, they don't give you any valuable insights to these trends. They're just talking about, you know, hey, what about the new Omega release? Hey, what do you think of the Rolex Submariner? Am I better off with a black dial steel submariner or the green dial? That's what these Bukiaks. This is what these Bukiaks do all day. They have mental masturbation discussions with other Bukiaks talking about Bukiakistan. That's right. That's what they do. They talk about Bukiakistan. So. This channel, we talk about how to build generational wealth. That's right, generational wealth. Can you build generational wealth with one Rolex? Yes, I believe you can. That's right. Imagine this. Let's say you buy that day date, and you know, your grandson inherits it or something, right? And you know, it's worth 10 grand then, right? Then he takes that 10 grand and he buys, you know, I don't know, he goes to Colombia and, you know, buys some sort of, you know, importable merchandise that's much more expensive by the ounce here in America, right? The type of stuff that somebody was offering me here a few blocks away a few months ago, right? All of a sudden that 10 grand turns into 500 grand. I don't know the market values of cocaina, but you know, I mean, whatever. But you get the point, right? Takes that 10 grand. Maybe he starts a rocket company like Elon Musk, goes to Mars. I mean, you know, this, you got to think about the each of these things can have long ripple effects, bigly ripple effects. So. Nobody ever went broke buying a gold Rolex. Let's use that. I'm gonna leave you with that quote. That's gonna be my quote. Nobody ever went broke buying vintage gold Rolex. There you go. All right, gentlemen, let me know what you think. Leave your nasty and vicious comments below. We'll see you in the next one.